Darlette, let's say we wiped out that $600 billion. We didn't spend a penny on defense. Let's say we wiped that out. We'd still be barely treading even.
It out completely,
each year. Okay, I understand. I'm just saying it shows you how big a task this is. Even if you were to wipe out all military spending.
It's not that big of a task. To have free public community college, it would cost $62 billion. The U.S. government spent $69 billion in 2014 just on financial aid programs.
All right,
the money
what
is
you're
there.
saying is, what I'm saying is you want to cut defense, and my hat's off to you. I think there's probably room
we need to readjust our priorities.
But I'm just saying to you, fine, I agree with that. But let's say we wiped out all defense spending. Let's say now we're treading even.
Who's making that argument, Neil? Who's making that argument?
But you've taken Darlette, I'm using it as an example.
To the next level.
No, Darlette, I'm just using an example.
That's the worst example. We can use better examples.
Darlette, please listen to me, and I will let you talk. I promise. If we wipe that out, and I'm sure you don't want to do that, I don't want to do that, but we wiped it out. You know, the government is still in the position of running in the red. So then what do we cut? What do we prioritize on to get back to the things that you think are important?
I shouldn't have to answer the question of how to handle the deficit that the government created. I'm not a government official. I wasn't elected into office to solve these problems. I'm a tax-paying citizen, a young person that is seeking opportunities in a system that is unable to provide it regardless of what the argument is. And I say that this system of capitalism has proven itself illegitimate, and it cannot provide basic things like education, shelter, health care. We need to readjust how we view our society if someone has to get on here and defend the right to education.
All right, so let me then ask, because I know you're raising a 4-year-old boy. It's tough, and I grant you that. But I am wondering that other countries around the world that have tried to afford protections like the ones that you outlined, that don't spend nearly what we do on our military, are in a world of hurt right now. Greece and Italy, Portugal and Spain, even France. And they have provided a lot of these entitlements you talk about, including free college in many of those countries.
And no, they're hurt because they're storing offshore money, because their governments are assisting in storing offshore money in safe havens that aren't being taxed. $22 trillion is sitting in banks that are untaxed. So we're talking about corrupt government officials, and you're comparing that to having affordable college.
No, I'm not.
Those aren't the same thing.
I'm sorry you got that impression,
there's other circumstances that's creating the economic catastrophe there,
Darlette,
and it's greed.
Is, and if you'll just hear me out, I'll let you reply because you make great points. All I'm saying is, if all of these countries that have promised, you know, free health care, free college, you know, early retirement as young as 42 in some countries, and they're coming back to realize we can't afford it anymore, and it's leading to riots because the government.
That's not true, Neil. That's not true. You have other places.
Did you see what's happening in Greece?
Did you see
what's happening in Italy?
I'm in Germany. What's happening in Greece is due to what happened in the 07-08 economic crisis. And who caused that? Wall Street, banks, predatory lending, corruption, laws that were breaking. And did any banker go to jail for that? No. We're investing in these prisons. Why don't we put some of these bankers in there?
I saw your comments in Germany.
We have all of these prisons.
Darlette, I caught your comments in Germany. You were really impressive out there.
You do good research.
But that country doesn't do nearly the amount of this stuff that these other countries do. It's the country that Greece comes to get money. It's the country that's leading Europe.
How do you know that? I totally disagree. You're pointing to Greece because it fits your argument. But we have Sweden, we have Finland, we have Brazil, we have plenty of countries that offer free college education.
It's the strongest economy in Europe, precisely because it did not go down this path of the government providing all of this stuff. Now, I'm not saying some of your priorities aren't good, and they're valid.
Germany has free college education and free health care. We're only talking about the topic of college education. Now you're trying to blow it up of all the problems in the world. We're talking about college education.
You're saying,
and Greece can do it. Can the U.S. not provide education to its citizens? Is that what you're telling me in the United States? That the United States cannot provide education to its citizens? That's what you're telling me, Neil? Is that what you're telling me?
You don't want to hear it. I'm not preaching. I'm just telling you facts.
I'm asking you a question.
Germany is the strongest economy in Europe.
Help me understand. We're talking about the U.S. I don't want to talk about Germany. Let's talk about the U.S. The U.S. cannot provide education to its citizens. That's what you're telling me?
You can't suit the facts to suit your point of view. You make a very good and passionate point about
We're talking about the United States.
But you're not talking about, you want to get rid of that.
Who is about to spend $1 trillion on nuclear weapons.
All right, fine. But do you think Bernie Sanders is right to
You're
just raise
refusing to
taxes?
answer my question. You're refusing to answer my question. You're saying that the United States cannot provide quality education to its citizens. That is the reality. Is that what you're telling me?
No, I'm saying the United States can't afford, as things are now, to pay for college for everybody without paying through the nose and taxing a lot of people. That's the way things stand now.
But I just gave you multiple ways that it can be paid for, and you agree with that.
I agree with the idea we have to reprioritize. All I'm saying, Darlette, bear with me, Darlette. All I'm saying is, can we reprioritize to the point, first, to address spending before we talk about hiking taxes on anyone?
We're talking about investment in prisons. That is one place where we can easily reprioritize. We don't need to be building more prisons. We have more prisons in the U.S. than degree-granting college and universities. That is a problem. We can invest that money that's being invested in prisons into universities that can educate young people.
All right, Darlette.
Do you not agree, Neil?
I agree on one thing, and I think we're past each other here. We can reprioritize. We can set our focus. All I'm saying, Darlette, before we talk about raising taxes, let's focus on where our tax money's already going.
No one said anything about raising taxes but you, Neil.
No,
you pointed to raising taxes.
I follow you on YouTube. You talk about the rich and the banks. No, I'm using your words. I've heard you on YouTube talking about raising taxes and the rich and the banks paying more.
But when you say raising taxes, you want your viewers who are crunched financially to feel like taxes are going to be raised on them. When I say raising taxes, I'm talking about bankers. I'm talking about the 0.01%, the Rothschilds, the Waltons, billionaires, hedge fund billionaires. We're talking about two different people here.
All right. All I'm talking about is if you raise that on all of those guys, then you're quite right. They do escape a lot of taxes. But even taxing to the full hilt isn't going to address everything you want. So the bottom line we agree on, I do agree with you on this, we can reprioritize. All I'm asking is let's reprioritize first before we decide on trying to give the government more money. Let's find out what the hell it's doing with the money it has, right?
We know what it's doing with the money. It's giving tax breaks to the rich, and it's paying for war. Expensive wars. We know. I'm not confused. Maybe you should do some more research, Neil, if you're confused about where your tax dollars are going. I understand exactly where it's going, and it's not going anywhere in education because it's not profitable. We live in a system of capitalism where the idea is to make money. If it doesn't make money, it's not a priority. We need to restructure our society and how it's set up and reprioritize on what we value as important. And money and profits should not be more important than education and human life. And the fact that it is a problem.
Thank you very much, Darlette Scruggs, a leader of a movement that is now a very, very big cause. Hillary Clinton might want to pay attention.